Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the GT Cup Europe Championship. We are here around 2 at SPA-FRANCORCHAMPS ahead of qualifying 2, setting up the grid for race 2 that is set to come up later on this afternoon. But already in the morning, we have seen conditions get slightly overcast. And as you'd expect, humidity has taken a sharp rise. 83% humidity with a 14-degree track temperature. It's going to take a little while for that Michelin rubber to heat up. But now as the cars make their way out onto the track to begin our next qualifying session, we're going to be in for a real treat. Off the back of our race yesterday, victory would fall into the hands of Giancarlo Fernandez and Lars Zanen after they started on the front row, with Zanen kicking them off. He fell down the field originally at the very start of the race before the driver change window then came into play, and with the combination of the handicaps that have been put in place as by ruling of the championship based on prior successes, it was Giancarlo Fernandez who was able to lift their car across the line to take their first victory of the season, and finishing ahead of Paul Meyer and Laura van den Hengel, who put in a mammoth effort towards the end. But once again, much like Portimao, despite the cards being lined up with a potential victory in sight for Laura van den Hengel overall, she just narrowly missed out with barely minutes to go in yesterday's race. But there's another opportunity today for many of the drivers looking to head out and go again. Obviously some issues in qualifying yesterday for the likes of Luca Franca. He's going to be looking to come back hard and strong, of course, this time around. Obviously getting it all wrong coming up through Eau Rouge and Radion. But like I said, today is another day, and there will be another race coming up this afternoon. And to take you through that, my name, of course, being George Morgan. Alongside me once again, it's the brilliant, the wonderful, the beautiful Ewan Dunlop. Ewan, over to you.
Oh, they get better and better, don't they, George? You wrote that last night, didn't you? Yeah, the win last night. Yesterday, of course, was fantastic for Gonçalves. And it was under a safety car as well. So the last couple of laps under the safety car, and they sort of dragged it across the line. We were set up for it was a dramatic finish, regardless of when the race officially ended. But no, fantastic once again in the GT Cup. And those results yesterday put Luca Franca, the Italian, on top of the championship classification. Lonchini and Armani dropped to second place on 22 points. And the second place finish, their second place finish for Paul Meyer and Lauren van den Hengel. That puts them up to third overall in the overall championship and top of the Pro-Am classification by a healthy 5 points.
Their second Pro-Am win of the season as well off the back of that result yesterday. So, you know, as far as they're concerned, it's still a very successful season despite a winning overall. Remember, we have got 3 classes this season. There's been a slight change in procedure into how the GT Cup Europe Championship works this year. Obviously, prior to this season, it's always been Pro-Am and Am, with Pro-Am featuring as the highest class on the grid. But nowadays, that's changed. We have now ushered in the new silver class. We've got quite a strong representative representing that silver class as well, with, in this qualifying session alone, 6 cars, or should I say 7 cars, taken to the grid in silver class this afternoon. We're currently running on board as well with Klaus Halsig, who's going to be taking over the McLaren Artura this time today, marking the Artura's debut appearance in the GT Cup Europe Championship. And Tommy Pintos was very exciting to watch in that opening stint of the race yesterday.
Yeah, just going back quickly to the Pro-Am classification. I told a lie, a 4-point lead for van den Hengel and Meyer, and it wouldn't have been a lead unless the reason the safety car came out was because of a spin of David Scanicchio with a couple of laps to go, and they were lying in Pro-Am second place at the time, which would have retained their Pro-Am championship lead. So lots of stories to tell. Now, we are going to get some flying laps coming around in the next couple of minutes. There's the 69. Good stint yesterday from Tommy Pintos in the opening leg. It's Klaus Halsig, his teammate. That beautiful orange McLaren Artura Trophy Evo. They also in the Pro-Am classification. And there is Lauren van den Hengel leading that team trio of 3.
Very strong, should we say, Porsche contingent has been in existence in
Massive.
GT Cup Europe for a long, long time now. And now we're ushering in yet another manufacturer joining us. Of course, we broke the deadlock with Ferrari as we now watch as Matteo Lovisi, who gets behind the wheel for the first time this weekend in race trim. Of course, this car retired yesterday after Davide Larini didn't manage to take it through the entirety of the opening stint, citing that their car had a steering problem. So therefore they were not able to continue the race yesterday. Therefore they had to retire the car. I got caught up with Matteo Lovisi yesterday in the paddock, and he alluded to me that they had a steering fault with the car, so therefore could not continue the race. Therefore, obviously, because he did not take the qualifying session yesterday, and it was prior to the driver change window, he has not seen any racing laps until this very point, but now gets his chance behind the wheel, and he only has one goal on his mind, and that is, of course, pole position. And just to obviously inform you viewers at home, if you are Formula One fans as well to boot, Davide Larini, of course, related to Nicola Larini, former Formula One driver.
Now, we are starting to get some laps coming through. Matteo Lovisi, 2:27, Alex Ryman, 2:31. Nowhere near the qualifying times we're expecting, but just started to warm those tyres up. And George mentioned the weather. It did rain here at Spa at 5 a.m. this morning. When we arrived at track around about 7:30, there was the thinnest sort of mist in the air. Not quite enough to make a greasy track, but just something to have in the back of your mind when you're flying up the likes of Eau Rouge. Again, a trio of Porsches. There's the Berger Motorsport of Lauren van den Hengel, qualified 9th in her stint last time out at Portimao. And unfortunately, in that second race, a complete passenger in an accident on the start-finish line, right as they were getting away, and declared the car null and void for that race. So back, and hopefully she'll have a full 2-stint weekend, will Laura.
It was null and void as a whole, that car, after that particular...
It was.
Shall we say, that particular moment, and a really cruel way to end their weekend at Portimao, especially after what had happened in race 1, where it was at the final corner coming around in race 1 that they would lose the overall victory. Obviously, it doesn't necessarily matter in terms of the Pro-Am Championship, because they still won the Pro-Am race, but obviously every driver wants to win overall, and Laura van den Hengel with such big ambitions on her mind, and that's exactly why the Iron Dames support her, of course, and recently signing to be a part of that racing team. And they're backing her all the way. Have done so much in the world of motorsport for women across the globe, and truly an inspiring collective. And this weekend alone, we've also got Dorian Pan racing here at Spa, and she's also part of the Iron Dames team. Recently also a winner in F1 Academy at Jeddah. So we now watch Stina's Longin now makes his way up towards Lango's first fastest, of course 2:27.011. If we talk about the timings, we will expect this to fall ever more. Track evolution is going to be vast through the course of this session, because we are in the very early goings, the very early morning, as we now watch Stina's Longin flies through in full commitment, coming through the bus stop chicane as he looks to trundle over those curbs. Imagine a little bit more than a trundle, I'm sure. But wow. Nicholas Salins and Stina's Longin. And Longin, if you remember last season, was the catalyst for some of the most extraordinary races we witnessed last season.
It was an almighty comeback, wasn't it? Now, on those track temps, we are expecting, we've got fastest time so far, Stina's Longin at 2:23.5. Yesterday, qualifying just courtesy of Paul Meyer below 2:20 at 2:19.686. We might not get that fast today. It was a front 4 lockout for the Porsches before the McLaren Altura of David Scanicchio and Fabio Babini.
Speaking of Scanicchio, just popping into 8th fastest now as it stands. Obviously Babini doing the opening stint yesterday. Now there is an improvement on hand here for Stina's Longin, but obviously is having to dodge and weave through the traffic at the moment. Quite a short window now for putting in your best laps, because whilst obviously they have that 10 minutes and 40, it's a very long lap here at Spa, the longest you're going to see on this calendar, so there's a very reduced opportunity. And as you can see, he's flashing his lights, saying, please get out of the way, but you've got two Ferraris, two Ferraris basically going side by side through the middle sector, which doesn't allow any avenue for an overtake, and unfortunately for Stina's Longin, despite that effort in the first sector, he's going to see that all undone here as we now watch him fly through the latter part of sector 2. And as you can see on the timing screen and in our overlays here on screen, the graphics, it says plus 1.017 seconds, and that is in comparison to the fastest lap that he posted last time out of a 2:23.537. So you certainly won't be improving on this one. Alex Ryman's improving though, and is currently registering fastest at the moment. Lost a little bit of time in the middle sector, but is still purple. As now Pietro Armani goes first fastest ahead of Steeners Longin now this time, who's looking to get set on another run this time around. Of course, Pietro Armani coming into this series off the back of a single-seater career that has seen him take part in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. And coming into this championship alongside fellow Italian Ludovico Longoni. And having taken part in Porsche Super Cup Armani last year, also Porsche Carrera Cup Italy over the last 2 years, and the Sprint Challenge as well, has had plenty of time behind Porsche Cup machinery. As we have Gianluca Giorgi now into 11th place behind Antoine Berberek Martini, as Laura van den Hettingel pops into 8th fastest, just ahead of Fernando Navarrete, of course returning to the Mertel team this season. We're riding on board though with Matteo Lovisi as he now heads uphill through the Kemmel Straight, one of the most stunning, beautiful, picturesque and iconic portions of track you'll ever see in World Motorsport.
You could look at it all day, couldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, each morning we walk in here and it's just, wow, look where we are. There's now 4 cars that have gone sub 2:24. That is Armani, Longin, Rodriguez and Brawns. We will expect a few more of those. Now, as you mentioned, George, this is a 7-kilometre track with 19 turns. With 8 minutes remaining, 3.5 laps, including the one you're on. There are very few opportunities to get a flyer in. And with, 27 cars on the track, traffic is going to be, it's absolutely standard. So getting out the way of those going for a fast lap is par for the course. But at the same time, there's going to be a bit of selfishness. You want to warm your own tyres up and look after your own. This is an individual team sport. You've got to look after number one.
Yeah, and also, I just want to also mention, with Spa in itself, it's almost like every sector is its own track, because they carry such vastly different characteristics. We talk about high speed, slow speed, mid-speed cornering. And because this championship is made up now of various manufacturers, we've got Porsches, Ferraris, McLaren now have got a car in this series, and we've got Lamborghinis as well, like Huracan Super Trofeo machinery. Because they all have different characteristics, we associate Ferrari being fast in a straight line, Porsche being a little bit more nimble in the corners. As such, obviously Lamborghini also harbouring certain traits, and also the McLaren that seemed so good in the first sector yesterday. It does really allow to push the Porsche machinery, or push the GT Cup star machinery that we have, certainly in this grid anyway. Steeners Longin pops into first fastest. Rodriguez, current championship leader, goes second fastest ahead of Pietro Armani, leading that silver contingent. But remember, they have to look for the overall highest results, as Eugenio Pisani goes fourth fastest as well. Ryman down in ninth, just behind Navarrete, and Fran Bugliotti second highest AM, as Giorgi now pops into 8th fastest and third in AM class, with Nathan Brawns leading that AM contingent at the moment. Of course, remember, he is partnering Nicholas van Dierendonk as they look to continue spearheading Q1 Track Racing's outfit in AM class.
We are down into the 222s. And Alex Ryman had a purple first sector there, fell away slightly. Third place finish yesterday. He's not doing the entire championship in the 47. That's another one of the Porsche 992s. For the EST1 racing team. However, fell away to, where's he sitting, top 10 right now. But yesterday, qualified 8th, finished 3rd. So qualifying for this weekend, at least right now, not his forte, but racing-wise, fantastic performance yesterday afternoon. And today's race, just to bring you up to speed, it's a long old time away, 4 p.m. this afternoon. So a big gap between qualifying and racing in the GT Cup today.
Yeah, we've got some toing and froing in that first sector between Alex Ryman and Steeners Longin. Longin did have the purple first sector, but it's just been stripped away by Alex Ryman thus far. Rodriguez is fastest in the speed trap, but this is going to be the prevalent issue when you reach the middle sector. Getting a fast run in is all the more tricky. Now, we have witnessed a huge upsurge in the number of entries in the GT Cup Europe Championship as of late, so obviously that does complicate things a bit for certain drivers when they try and plan and plot their timing to take their fast runs, and it does make it difficult when you're in this scenario. We've got a Lamborghini Huracan, of course the number 8 making its way around the circuit. That's Luciano Privatello, who is embracing that one and just getting out of the way of the 2 Porsches that sit in behind Alex Ryman, despite going purple in the first sector, losing time. Still a personal best in the middle. Pietro Armani also finding 2 personal bests in sectors 1 and sectors 2 as well in the 22 at the moment, as we now watch as the 91 of Rodriguez now flies through the bus stop chicane. Here comes Alex Ryman. He looking to also improve. He's now been dropped to 12th fastest because DeMarchi has now popped up into 3rd place after setting 2 personal bests in the opening 2 sectors. Here comes Alex Ryman, now goes 3rd fastest, 2nd in silver class. Franvel Bugliotti 6th, just in behind Pisani. Armani now down to 7th, but it's Stina's Longin untouched. Up at the top is Matteo Levisi, now joins us inside that top 10.
This would be the Stina's Longins and his teammate Nicholas Salin's best qualifying by some distance in this championship. 8th and 18th at Portimao, and they weren't in the top 10 yesterday either, so this could be a good jump up for them, obviously, if that converts to championship points. Here's Lauren van den Hengel. 9th would match her qualifying from Portimao in the Burgers Motorsport car, from which, of course, they unfortunately took that hit at the start, looking to avoid a repeat of that situation. But Longin, Rodriguez and DeMarchi, Pro-Am, followed by 2 silvers currently in your top 3. Less than 1 second separating the top 6, and there are maybe 2 laps to squeeze in.
Yeah, absolutely right. 3 minutes and 30 to go. Laura van den Hengel really giving us a good display. Currently 3rd fastest inside the Pro-Am class at the moment, because Pisani currently sat in 4th, Longin being the fastest, actually overall fastest as well, and it's another personal best here for Laura van den Hengel. So once again, knuckling down and looking to once again shift that delta downwards in a pursuit of perhaps even higher grandeur inside this classification. We'll wait and see. She's currently ahead of silver class driver Matteo Levisi at the moment. If you remember, a year ago, driving with Federico Al Rafai alongside him as well, we did see Matteo Levisi competing for highest honours last season. They were title contenders last year, of course. Eventually losing out, though, on that occasion. It went the way of Jorge Velasco, or Ivan Velasco, I should say. Luca Ludwig was alongside him at Mertel Motorsport. And also Leandro Martins, Dieter Schweppes coming into this season, the reigning AM champions. Of course, they put in a grand display, didn't they, in yesterday's race, as Laura van den Hengel comes through the Lafanier chicane. As I said, Iron Dame supported, pretty much made her mark in motorsport, in Porsche Cup machinery, or should I say, in this championship. It was pretty much a straight jump out of karting for Laura van den Hengel, as we just briefly witnessed Luca DeMarchi move up into 3rd fastest with an improvement in the 1st and 3rd sectors. Matteo Levisi will be making his way towards the line, goes 1st fastest now, Matteo Levisi. And what a timely one that is too, with 2 minutes to go, still looking to chase for better track position, but Levisi has arrived. Laura van den Hengel looking to now close out her lap with another improvement. She's currently now 9th fastest. Pietro Armani pops up into 6th. So now at the moment, van den Hengel dropped down to 9th. Can she jump a little bit higher this time and ascend inside this top 10? She does, 7th quickest. Now ahead of Goncalo Fernandez, remember, who beat her to the punch to take the overall win yesterday.
Now, this has been the Porsche show for the last 24 hours or so. However, that is the Ferrari 488 of Levisi and Larini on top for the Mertel Motorsport team. So, can they shake things up? There's a couple of lap times deleted for car 33. That is Franlang Bugliotti, who is currently 2nd in the AM competition behind Braun's in the 57.
Yeah, Florence Insescu as well back in alongside Camel Perry, and they are now 15th fastest as well, just popping in a time for R01 Racing Porsche. Yes, another personal best as well in the 1st sector for Nathan Braun's, who is fastest in the speed trap at the moment, currently registering 270 down the straight. But Laura van den Hengel not improving on this lap, and it could be the case that it looks like it's going to be 6th place at best for now, but more importantly, Pro-Am P2.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, dominating that championship right now after the results yesterday, and that unfortunate spin from the previous Pro-Am leaders. Well, that is the way it falls. They took advantage Second, 2 of 3 Pro-Am victories. So this is last chance saloon now for all of our cars. Looking at the map here, nobody's going to make it over to go one more time out. Everybody is on their final lap. Are we seeing any purples? One from Nathan Brawns and green in Sector 2. But I think this might be the way it falls now.
Ian Rodriguez coming up towards the line now. He was purple as the checkered flag comes out. He'll not be going again. Does not improve from third fastest. Will remain where he is. Matteo Lovisi looking to dig deep in the final sector, but he is, of course, already on top spot. Did find a personal best improvement by 16 thousandths in Sector 1, but no improvements in the latter 2 sectors. So as it stands, Matteo Lovisi will be on pole position ahead of our GT Cup Europe Race 2 in round 2 here at Spa. Laura van den Hengel looking to bring an end to her final lap as well, but a very grand display from the Burgers Motorsport team by HWM's Antoine Berberic Martini pops into 12th fastest. Leandro Martins now into 13th, and more importantly, they are currently sat, in fact, I think they've had that time just deleted at the moment. I can tell you that team manager's car 69 is to be report to the stewards. Now that, I believe, is Klaus Halsig from the McLaren Artura entry that we've been witnessing as well. So they have got to report to the stewards. Obviously an incident that they need to correct at the moment, and the car 911 indeed was, did have their time deleted. Leandro Martins now forfeiting that third fastest AM time, and Florentin Sescu right at the very end popping himself into 6th fastest. I mean, that is a stunning lap there from Florentin Sescu, and H. de Mello, I think, just making a little bit of an error coming out of the bus stop chicane as well, self-righting himself. Remember, he was involved in the spin yesterday that would see him topple down the order as well. So looking for a big recovery drive this time around today.
And that track deletion from Leandro Martins is quite painful, because that was their really one flying lap, 2:38 they've been demoted to, which is 25th right now. And there's the spin in the background.
That's the 44. And a near miss with Davide Scanicchio as well coming out of the final corner. But all the cars now queued up inside the old paddock straight, or indeed the old pit lane, as we bring an end to qualifying here in the GT Cup Europe Championship qualifying 2. Matteo Lovisi back on top once again, and a result I'm sure that they are absolutely delighted with here at this point, considering the challenges that they have faced. Did not necessarily max out any points last time, taking a solitary point in race 1 overall in our very first race of the season. The second race granted them 2 points, so this is a huge opportunity for them to take max points here this afternoon. It's Matteo Lovisi fastest for Mertel Motorsport. Q1 track racing with Stina's Longing as well in second, highest Pro-Am as well. Ian Rodriguez in third fastest. Alex Ryman fourth. Luca De Marchi in fifth. Florentin Sescu highest AM in sixth after that very late in the day lap, with Goncalo Fernandez in seventh. Pietro Armani down in eighth as well. Laura van den Hengel, another impressive performance, second in Pro-Am and ninth overall. Eugenio Pisani down in 10th as well. Franvel Bugliotti in 11th place. Antoine Berberic Martini in 12th. H. de Mello in 13th. Rodri Guillon in 14th spot for the Belgian Icepol Racing Team. Gianluca Giorgi in 15th place, with Fernando Navarrete on his return in 16th. Alex Ryman 17th place. Peter Furter 18th. Davide Scanicchio 19th. Giacomo Giabergia in 20th place. Riccardo Romagnoli in 21st. Mauro Trentin in 22nd. Gianluigi Piccioli in 23rd. Luciano Privitello in 24th. Leandro Martins after the time deletion down in 25th. Klaus Halsig in 26th in the McLaren Artura for SMC Motorsport. Leo Reinbeek in 27th, and Javier Ripoll, the Estonian, not setting a time. But that is all from us, folks. Do join us this afternoon for the race.